The dust has officially settled from Friday's crypto collapse. I don't really know another term that we could really fill in there other than collapse, because it's exactly what it was. But moving forward and looking at the market right now, there's still plenty of quality altcoins that haven't even caught back up to their pre-collapse levels, where this was more of a systematic failure and manipulation than something that should have sent altcoins down 80% like we saw. So in this video, I'm going to go over the positions I still think are just easy upside at this point in time. We've seen some altcoins reclaim even higher levels than their pre-collapse prices, but right now is the time to take action. Look at your portfolio. If you have some stable coins, it might be the time to put it to work, because I feel like some altcoins in the market right now are still crazily undervalued based on where we saw them before Friday and then where they're sitting now. So we'll go over that and more in this video. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's get right into it, guys. If you are new to the channel, or if you support the videos, you enjoy the content, you get value, please drop down, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us get in front of more crypto bulls just like yourself throughout the duration of this bull market. And yes, we are in a bull market, by the way, just a little bit of a black swan that could actually provide some of the biggest opportunities that we've seen. So hold on tight, we're gonna get there. But on top of that, guys, check out our sponsors down below in the description. We have some incredible sponsors here on the channel from Nexus Labs, as well as Blowfin. We also are partnered up with Gravity, ZK Sync, as well as 𝗓𝗏𝗏. And today I want to give a big shout out to 𝗓𝗓𝗏. First and foremost, it's been BNB season, and 𝗓𝗓𝗏 is one of the leading AI projects across the entire space when it comes to the BNB ecosystem. They have the official stamp of approval from the Binance Smart Chain. You can create games, images, videos, different assets inside of worlds. We're talking about different structures and just 3D models inside of different games. You can see the users making different games here on the platform. But on top of that, their token is actually one of the strongest on BNB as well. We can see the 𝗓𝗓𝗏 token here, which is on the Binance Smart Chain, sitting at $170 million FDV. So a big shout out to 𝗓𝗓𝗏. Like I said, one of the AI leaders on the Binance Smart Chain. And check out all of our sponsors down below in the description. Let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. We've done a lot of recovery over the course of the weekend as far as some altcoins that got hit hard. Look, we really hit levels that I did not think we would see maybe ever again, if not let alone in a bear market, like deep in the doldrums of a bear market. I didn't think we would maybe see $8 avalanche. Like those types of things are unheard of, right? Based off where we were. We saw SUI under $1. We saw Trump at $1 billion market cap. We saw coins just absolutely collapse. And this was a bigger thing than just, market makers. It really was. If you look back at it, hindsight's always 2020. And yes, market makers had issues. It was seemingly like a centralized exchange versus decentralized exchange data war. We saw a lot of liquidations, biggest in crypto history. We did a full recap on the situation on Saturday. So if you missed that, or you didn't find out or pay attention to what happened in crypto on Friday, we did a whole video going over it. But leading into all this, with all the perp dex launches, it felt like people were being funneled into leverage. We saw Bitcoin barely grinding up to all-time high. We saw all the digital asset treasuries going down the risk curve, basically, like bigger money taking bigger risks, raises with peak bull market valuations, Zcash pumping. So there were quite a bit of catalysts that we could have seen, like, okay, maybe we are due for a big correction, but that level of a correction was unheard of. And nobody saw that coming. A complete systematic failure of the market due to how much leverage was in the market. However, the one thing we had said over the course of time is it felt like this cycle has more leverage than ever. And that was proven in that liquidation. But I feel like it's a clean slate. It's a fresh start. Most people aren't just going to dive right back into leveraged positions unless we got just overly bullish, maybe a frothy market once again. You're probably going to see people dive right back into the perps. And then, that's like leading into the slaughter. We just saw that. So always be careful if you're trading leverage. But what this provided was some of the biggest opportunities to catch strength coins at crazy lows. We saw 𝗏 on Friday morning. It was up 20%. It was sitting at $378. And I even tweeted that morning, like, hey, Tao's waking up because AI is waking up, right? We've seen these big deals with AMD and NVIDIA and OpenAI. So we're seeing a lot of trends in the AI space. So to me, it felt like, and last week we said, I'm really isolating right now towards AI tokens. We saw Tao get up here to like 390. And then at that 5 o'clock hour, all the way down way lower than this, like 120, it was a wick so fast, but this went down to $120, right? And then whenever we, see the aftermath, even the next day, this thing was sitting at $289 over 24 hours later. This was an incredible buy opportunity for a coin that was showing major strength in a relevant niche. We see AI absolutely ripping in the real world. And then now we're sitting at $420. There's tons of trades out there like this that could still play out that are lower than their pre-collapse levels. And we're going to go over that here in just a second. I did tweet Tao back above 400. Beautiful recovery. One of the strongest, if not the strongest bounce since the market collapse on Friday. So a big shout out to anyone who took advantage of those prices or just took the Tao trade with us. We had mentioned early last week that I thought Tao was due for a run. Tao started running, the market collapsed, and then now it's back above those levels, sitting at that $420 level. My bull case here would be $1,000. We'll see if we can get there. And then as well, in the AI sector, by the way, impressive that Tao's still green on the weekly, the daily, and the monthly after that ordeal. Another one in the AI sector that I think is definitely worth a little bit of a stab here, especially when we look at the monthly prices. This thing got up to 6.5 cents. It's sitting at 4.8 right now, and that's 𝗓𝗟. And 𝗓𝗟 is probably one of the best legitimate businesses in the entire crypto AI space. Their infrastructure, their amount of revenue, they're on pace for 160 million annual revenue this year. And on top of that, there's $340 million of 𝗓𝗟 going into a digital asset treasury. And it's spreading, the news across crypto is spreading that this is happening. It's one of the biggest AI digital asset treasuries that has formed to date. I think this is very bullish. And once again, one of those trades at 4.5 cents. I think this could catch up so easily to that 6.5 level that we were trading at literally just a couple weeks ago. And then we see the dip here from 6 cents, okay, at 2:40 p.m., as we're seeing here on the screen, 2:40 p.m. on the 10th, so 2 hours before the collapse. This thing was at 5 cents, 5.8 cents. And then it went all the way down here below 4 cents. The wick down was like 2.5 cents. And now we're back at that 4.8 level. So theoretically, it's an easy 25% gainer just off the low ends before that collapse at 5.8 cents. And I think we could probably reclaim those 6 cent levels pretty easily here in the coming weeks. Like, these are just trades that are out there right now for you to take advantage of. And here's the thing with these collapses. They are meant to instill fear. They are meant to take people off the game board, okay? Like in Monopoly or in War, Battleship, all these different board games, chess, the easiest example. The whole goal is to take the opponents or take users, let's just say, off the board, right? So the big money in the markets, they want to take out all of that leverage. They wiped that off the game board. Now it's a fresh board. But most people aren't going to put their pieces back on the table, okay? But if you are locked in and you understand market psychology, this is the best time to be adding positions on spot. Please do not go and just immediately leverage yourself again, okay? Buy spot, let this thing grind up, build up your stack again, especially if you were affected by the liquidity event, the liquidations. But if you weren't affected, you're in a beautiful position to just be able to take advantage of these discounts, which I think will just naturally reprice over the coming weeks. Another one that is at the top of my list, and one that I did take another position on this morning, just added on my spot bag, was 𝗬𝗍. Around this 287 level earlier today, 284, 287. I sent an alert out actually here on Nexus and in TTOO. So if you don't have a membership to either of those, I would check it out. You can get an NFT for TTOO on OpenSea, or you can check out Nexus for $49 a month and be able to get insights from me directly whenever I'm making moves in the market. But this morning I took a little bit more of a DCA into 𝗬𝗍, because if we look at the weekly chart on 𝗬𝗍,
This thing was trading at $3.50 and then went all the way down to $1, which was unheard of. I did not think we would see SUI at under $1, given the VC backing and the institutions, the money behind this. But it happened on that wick, and now it's still under $3 into $3.50 here. That's another 20% gain. Easily, this thing could take another 60 cents up, another, even up to $4. It was trending towards that $4 level last week, and then we saw this occur. And when I look at the SUI ecosystem, there's no reason to think, why wouldn't I take the stab at the DCA under $3? It's a free 20% trade, even if we just get up to that 360 level. And it was ranging in those middle 350s for quite a while. I feel like that's a safe zone for this token to get back to. You see the metrics, the TVL, the amount of DeFi going on this protocol. It's one of the fastest growing blockchains in all of crypto. And then we have 𝗂𝗏𝗧 here, a great trader, great chartist, saying that the SUI Bitcoin chart has a clean reclaim of support after the wick lower from Friday's market crash. Have seen multiple times across previous bull markets where events like this were quickly erased and there were catalysts for moves higher. Still see the setup I've been watching play out higher from here. Have seen multiple charts of other major alts already run higher from pre-market crash, and SUI looks ready to do the same. I could not agree more with this sentiment, and that is definitely another one that I am watching here. I think a few more. We saw Avalanche at $29. It's starting to reclaim. It's at $23. That could be a good stab to take. And then one that I think is just way too undervalued is 𝗓𝗏. This thing has been punished over the course of the month. I would maybe take a small stab at 𝗕TA. It is one of my favorite new blockchains. Their mainnet just went live. There was a bit of a sell the news event, but I think at 40 cents, it's hard for it. It has to be on my buy list at this point in time. It's just so undervalued at those levels. A few others that are still showing major strength in the market, and I want to buy into strength, especially when it comes to lower market cap coins right now. And first and foremost, I want to go up real quick. We see 𝗬𝗏, and this is why we have 𝗬𝗏 in our portfolio. Middle cap AI coin, but it's underneath 𝗬. Obviously, it's 𝗬𝗏, and we see 𝗬, my favorite AI coin. So when we look at this thing's up 25% today because 𝗬 is recovering so quickly. So beta plays in that middle part of your portfolio. This is why we hold a coin like 𝗬𝗏. So wanted to point that out as well. My favorite low cap in this market right now is 𝗥𝗏𝗄 still, and they're about to go through a big rebrand. This is going to change the game, and I think it's going to bring in a lot more liquidity, speculative interest, and just really is going to bring the gaming evolution into what has really evolved in 2025. Like when they started this project to now, things have completely changed in the market, but they have the tech stack, the team, the backing to be able to bring it all together and not just be able to maybe move niches, but make it all in one and have one of the most well put together ecosystems really in the entire crypto gaming space. They've teased 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝗏 AI. There's a lot of things going on here. Maybe even RWA based on some of the teasers they've put out there. So to me, the 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝗏 rebrand is something to look out for. I know they're going to be doing buybacks as well. So just sitting at this $25 million level, that is ridiculously cheap in my opinion, and would be the one low market cap coin that I would be isolating in this market. And I just want to give also a little bit of color here. I know I'm very bullish on Black Hole when the token came out. We ran it up to $1.50. It completely crashed back down to those 50, 40, 20 cent levels. Right now, what is this token sitting at? We can go look. Black Hole today is at 19 cents. I think this is ridiculous. It's a $22 million market cap coin. And just from a numbers perspective, no matter what you think, a lot of people, hate on Elio for no reason. Like, he built a great product here just because the price didn't keep going up, right? If price went up, Elio's a king in this situation. If the price goes down, people will call him a scammer, but that's just the nature of the game, right? Elio's a good friend of mine. I've been tuned into this project since day one, but the thing is, look at these metrics. Like, 94 million tokens have been locked, 16.5 billion in trading volume, 12.9 million in cumulative swap fees. But here's the kicker. They have given out more money to their people who lock tokens in their DeFi protocol than where the current FDV of the project sits. Like, make it make sense. That just makes absolutely zero sense to me. If I have money that comes through on Avalanche Chain that I don't want to put in on AVAX, I've been actually burning black because they're paying out crazy APR every single week to people who vote on pools and they get those rewards. I'm seeing people make $500,000 a week just from voting, doing nothing, taking 1 minute of your time just because they did put that liquidity to work. And now they're basically equity holders is the way you could look at it in a platform like this. So just the sheer fact, regardless of thoughts, anyone's thoughts, negative, positive about black, $22 million market cap for a project that has paid out $24 million to their most loyal holders. It just doesn't make sense to me. This should reprice higher. The business valuation behind something like this is like 10 times what it is on the FDV. So it just makes no sense to me. I would not be surprised to see this reprice over the course of time. And let's just say maybe you are fully invested in the market. Maybe this was a time period of reflection. You see your portfolio go down. You're like, what can I do in this scenario? And I loved this tweet just to close it out from Whale Swoosh. Whale's a great follow on Twitter if you don't already. But crypto is a numbers game, guys. If you farm 100 airdrops, at least one of them is going to be an absolute banger. You're going to get paid out well, and it's going to be worth your time, right? If you write 50,000 tweets, you're going to land a few big ones, big engagement, and you're going to grow a following, okay? If you go hard on 20 new narratives, RWA, AI, DeFi, perps, dexes, buybacks, meme coins, whatever the case is, one of them is going to be a big hit that changes your life potentially. The goal is not to give up or voluntarily quit or involuntarily zeroed out while running up the numbers. So I think that this is very important. Shots on goal. Okay, last year, 2024 and then early 2025, did I hit every coin in the meme coin market? Let's just say, no, I didn't. But I caught a few of the big ones. I caught 𝗏𝗏, I caught MLG early, I caught Chill Guy, I caught Trump early. Like, there were major wins that made up for a ton of the other things that I just didn't really get in early enough on, right? Same with airdrops. This quarter should be fruitful. First of all, BNB and for the meme coin launcher on Binance Smart Chain, they just did a $45 million airdrop for people who lost money on meme coins from Friday's crash. No, that's unheard of. No Solana project has ever done that. Photon, Bullx, nobody has done this. And BNB's been in the meme space for like a week, and they dropped 45 million. They said, sorry, the coins went down. Here you go. Like, that's insane. Tomorrow, we have the first airdrop claim for Aster. And if you're not already farming this, like, multiple people I've gotten hit up in DMs, on Twitter, on Discord, like, Hustle, I joined your team. I'm getting 1,000 Aster. That's $1,500 just for participating on the Aster decks. And they're doing airdrops every single week. If you're not already on our team, we have one of the best teams on Aster. You can join in the link down below in the description. The claim for season 2 here goes live tomorrow, and phase 3 is already underway for farming. We see Lab, and today's the last day. If you haven't linked up your wallet, if you traded meme coins on Solana, go check out Lab Trade, see if you qualified for this airdrop. It was a pretty easy one to qualify for, and I think this could be pretty fruitful. They're getting a ton of exchange listings on day one, and I think, if I remember correctly, it's launching on BNB chain, but on top of that, I believe they have Binance Alpha. Yeah, so Binance Alpha initially launched, so this is very good for the Lab token, and on top of that, we have Meteora next week. So on the 23rd, I think that would be next Thursday, Meteora's airdrop comes out, and this looks to be very fruitful as well. So there's plenty of opportunities, whether you want to spend time farming new airdrops or you are in on all of these. There's a ton of liquidity events coming up in the market. Most importantly, I think some discounts in the market, but on top of that, shots on goal. Farm those airdrops, take those trades. You never know which one is going to pan out, okay? And that's just with everything in life. But in crypto specifically, sometimes the things you don't expect to be the big hit is going to be the big hit. So keep putting in the reps. And it's like they say on crypto Twitter, just keep clicking. If you keep clicking around the blockchain, most of the time the cards will end up falling in your lap, because I always say this is the last thing I'll say. Time in the market beats timing the market. every time, okay? And Bitcoin is the big standard on that. But at the same time, spend time on these platforms. You never know what's going to be the most rewarding or the big hits that you're going to come across on the blockchain. So guys, like the video, subscribe down below. I'll be back tomorrow as always with more market coverage. Like, subscribe, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.